transition from one
I mean,
career to, say, fashion, still go to fashion school or learn, or they learn from someone that they believe that can teach them, these things. And people like that have longer careers. They leave lasting legacies. Their business outlive them because you learned from the bottom. You learned from the ranks.
I mean, Bolanle from Makeup Pro, who we all know very well, one of the biggest makeup companies in Nigeria, she says absolutely process, process, process. Guys, let me
Process.
just say, just from my little experience, I'm not a top stylist from like the Style Infidel, but I've worked in the fashion space for close to 38 years. And one of the things that I can say, and I'm sure David that is here and Bolanle, that we guys that have been through this, we've been through the good times, the hard times, the bad times, we've been through everything, is that there is no shortcut to success. You guys that think that you just come in, you do blah, 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 and the next day you think you're going to be a top celebrity stylist or a top celebrity designer. It doesn't work like that. Trust me, guys, you are going to have to pay your dues. And if you're not ready to pay your dues, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what Tosin and David and the others that are here think, but I definitely feel you ain't going to make it. You might make a one-hit wonder, and we know, Tosin, if we were to give the list of people that have not made it compared to the people that have made it, the list, we will just be talking of those that have not made it for the next 5 years, giving a list of people. And that's how it is, guys. There are more people that don't make it than those that make it. If you speak to those of us that what we've been through, hey, you don't even want to know. You have no idea of what we go through on our shows, our events, on styling, the way clients talk to us, on pricing. There's so many different things that we could give you. If we were just to give antidotes, you guys would be laughing and saying, no, it can't be true. Because one of the things that I noticed, I'm not going to make this about me, but one of the things I have to say this thing bugs me. I see people on the street. We're going to come to your question, third son of March, very soon. The thing that bugs me is this. People see me, they see you, they see David, they see Bolanle, and they say, it's okay for you people, you have made it. You guys, you have money. You guys, you are this. You guys are that. They do not know what we went through at the beginning to get there. Everybody has to go through that hard process. So see, when we first started at GT, do we know what it was like? Seriously. Do they know what it was like? I mean, David, so I have to follow on to what David was saying, because he says the reason why he has asked this question is because of these so-called instant Instagram designers that come in, and before you know it, they're on the same runway platform with established brand designers. David, I feel your pain, but what can we do? If they've created a niche for themselves that the show producer or the owner of the show wants to invite them, those people are not going to say, guys, before you come on board, you've got to have 5 years of St. Martin's experience, of London Fashion School experience. What do we do in those cases, David? It's a bit difficult to say that. You know, because what David has said is that this brings down the value of those designers. And one of the things that we are trying to do at Fashion's Finest Africa is that we wanted to change what David is complaining about by saying, new, emerging, and aspiring designers, come and learn your trade at Fashion's Finest Africa. Then, when you have become great, then you can go on to a bigger show like a London Fashion Week, a South Africa Fashion Week, a GT Bank Fashion Week. But now some people, you know, Tosin, how many applications we get for something like a GT. People from nowhere. I don't even know them. They have shopping. Let me not call any area so they don't come and beat me. But they have shopping wherever. And they come to me and say, I want to be on GT Bank Fashion Weekend. How is that possible? So, as David said, train is key. Hey, Mary J, you're there. You know, so that is key. Let me get out of this because this is about the Style Infidel. David, don't come and cause trouble here. You see, the problem with guys, if you know David Talley, wherever he goes, he causes trouble. So he has now taken us down somewhere. But I think he's got some good points because one of the things that David said is the industry should be regulated and
Yes,
training is key.
yes,
But
very
how do we
important.
do it? How would you deal with those points that David has raised?
Um, okay, so I wouldn't necessarily mention the shows, but I can remember one of the shows that we experienced yearly. There was a particular designer that was supposed to show, and the organizers requested to see the designer's collection because they wanted to check out finishing and what the collection looked like before they gave the pass that okay, this particular person is doing the show. And at the end of the day, the person ended up doing the show. And regulation is very key. I understand that feeling of, oh, someone just woke up one morning, got on Instagram, knows how to take fancy pictures, and all of a sudden the person is showing on the same platform as me. It's also being able to also be open to new talents. It's also being able to open up to new talents. I can remember when a particular brand, when Style Temple came out, she came out with a bang. She came out with, she was so, I mean, her collection was so good that the fashion space could not ignore her. And she had been in the business for a long time, for a very long time.
But is
And
she
also,
formally trained though? Is she formally trained?
she's formally trained.
So that's the point. She deserves to be there because she's formally trained. What David is saying is that these people that from nowhere, they went to one local tailor, signed something, did Instagram picture, and the next thing they're on the same big show as him, as a Style Temple, as a Larry De Silva, as a Maya Tafo. How can that be right?
Well, like he said, like he rightfully said, regulation. Being able to, I mean, if we had more shows, I mean, for instance, there's Fashion's Finest that provides platform for younger designers, for designers that are still joining and building their brands and all of that. There is that platform for them. If there are more platforms for people like that, they won't all of a sudden just be on the same platform. If we had a regulating body that said, okay, you know what, this is for this type of people, which I really do not buy into, to be very honest. That, oh, this is for this type of people, this is for that type of people. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You have the different stratas of shows. There are different stratas of shows. You can't say, for instance, now, New York Fashion Week. Maybe the only restricting thing will be Paris. Before you can get on Paris Haute Couture Week, you have to be a member. Or the couture board have to, they would have to approve your brand to be able to say you're showing during Couture Week in Paris. But say a regular London, New York, there are lots of off-schedule shows that happen during that season. And you can't necessarily tell them to shut down because they woke up one morning and they all of a sudden became a big designer and they can afford to put up a show on their own. You can't tell them not to do that. True. But at the same time, too, for a designer's own good, please learn. Please learn. It is important. Creatives generally learn. Learn from those who have better experiences. It is very important. You can get up there, but you can crash really. You can crash real quick. It's not a course. You can get up there in a snap, and then in a snap you are down. But if you are taking notes and taking lessons from people that were there before you, and you understand the process, it's easier. I know these big designers, wealthy designers that probably didn't start doing shows until maybe 2-3 years ago. Not because they couldn't afford to put a show together, but at that point, they just felt it is not time. It is not time. It is not time for me to put up a show. I'm not ready to do a show. Let me just still keep learning on the business. Let me keep learning on the business. And when it was time for them to show, they started showing. So learning and regulating is important.
I believe that David has given us a topic that we can talk on throughout. So David, we may be contacting you to bring you into the FFA chat room to talk about this and get people to talk about it. But I think going back to some of the more general questions, I think this kind of fits in with it. Is that what do you mean by formally trained? Are there specific schools? Do you think people should go to? How do people acquire this knowledge?
Okay, so formal training is you going to, okay, so I'll tell you the categories of designers we have in Nigeria. We have the ones that can actually tailor and cut and sew and take measurements. And we have the ones that are good with just the ideas, illustrating and then they have the tailors that bring the garments, that bring the garments to life. And it is how do I put it? It is very, very important that we understand all of these things. If you're going for, it's always very, so for instance, you have your tailors who tailor your garments, and one day they get upset and they tell you they're leaving and you can't work, and you have a client's work pending. Unless you're producing ready to wear outside the country, where you ship in your garments and you just sell. If you are a proper tailor who would, if you're a proper designer, I feel there's certain things you should know how to do.
Okay.
So
Emma Bunk, she asked a question. I'm assuming it's a she. Asked that, does it make sense that I can design, but I can't style people? Are they the same thing? So does it make sense I can design, but I can't style people? Are they the same thing? I can answer this one. I know the answer to this one. I know, but the Style Infidel is the man that will give you the answer.
Okay. Where do I start from? Well, you can't do everything. But at the end of the day too, you should be able to chip in one or two things with your clients. And when I say chip in one or two things, so your client wants a peplum top and a peplum skirt. You should be able, your inner eye should be able to tell you that is not going to work. You're just going to look bigger at the end of the day. The reason of a peplum is to create an illusion of a slimmer frame. So if you have a peplum at the top and another peplum again, it just looks too busy, which is the job of a stylist to edit. So one way or the other, you might not be able to say, wear this color on this color on this color. Focus on your strength as a designer. Focus on your strength as a designer. Know when to chip in what advice. Know when to tell them you can wear this, you can wear this, you can't wear this. So focus on your strength as a designer and you're good.
I mean, one of the things that I always say with my team is that, listen, I know what my core strengths are. And for things that I'm not good at, I bring in experts to do it for me. So if you've got a really big client and they need that extra bit of styling, call the Style Infidel. It's as simple as that. Let them bring that extra touch. Because one of the reasons why people are always asking me, and I need to tell you this story, people always ask me that, when you produce shows, why did you bring in the Style Infidel? Why do you bring in other stylists that you have? Do you understand, like Bimbo or Mary J or people like that? I say, because it's simple as this, yes? Designers know how to put their clothes together, but sometimes it takes a little finishing touch. So, for example, the designer's made a clothes that it hangs up here. Tosin comes along and just says, drop it like that. And all of a sudden, that dress has just changed its entire look. Now, without a Tosin or a Style Infidel, that would not happen. That's why I bring a Style Infidel onto my show, because it can change my show from being a nice show or a mediocre show or a wow show to an amazing show. And it's all in the mind. You see, it's not that I'm going to do fireworks and people are going to do somersaults and things like that that makes it amazing. It's those simple little things that somebody looks at it and visually it looks stunning compared to when, you get it sometimes. Someone says, what do you think of that, Jess? It was okay. Because there was just nothing fantastic about the styling, but you just suddenly change it and it becomes wow. I mean, that's one of the things. If you look at somebody like a David Talley, or what's this guy from America? I always keep forgetting his name. The guy that always does
Laquan.
When these guys do shows for you, they are paying more attention to the styling than they are to the clothes that they're putting on you.
Yes.
The clothes that they put on you don't really mean that much to them. It's about the styling. And then you see Laquan, you see Tally come out, and you just say, damn, man, that show was hot. It's not the same clothes that they're wearing. It's the same clothes. But why do you all of a sudden think, wow, okay, people, that was a show. Let me not lie. That was a show. Let's say it as it was. That was a show.
Yes.
So these are the sort of things that make a difference. So somebody says, Mr. J. Couture, Do I just design a piece without having an idea of how to split?
Do I just design a piece without having an idea of how to style it?
Yeah.
So
So
the
in other
truth
words,
is,
they know how to design it. They've come up with a great clothes. Go on.
when you're
Sorry.
designing something, you're thinking of the entire look. You're thinking of the entire and how you're going to present it. Now, if you can't do that, that's the job of a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I realized, even like I was reading a lot about a lot of international shoes and a lot of international designers. For most of the big houses, once they're done designing, they tell and the designer just stays off the collection. They bring in the stylist. The stylist understands the story, understands how it should be styled, what accessories should come in, what accessories should be taken out, what piece should stay, what piece should go. So
Mm-hmm.
the importance of having a stylist is to say, okay, you know what? I'm done designing. Come put this thing together. If you can't do it, you might have an idea that you think, oh, it's grand, it's amazing and everything. And then you bring in your third eye, who's your stylist, and they probably think it's crap. Or it's
Okay.
not telling the story well enough, or
Mm-hmm.
it still needs to be tied properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, listen, guys. We've managed to drag Tosin to do an extra half an hour plus with us, but even he needs to go and eat, relax more before he thinks about how to make his next few millions. Yes. Um, so what we're thinking now, we want to round it up. I want one more question that I want to ask you. So I'm just wondering
Okay,
which will
uncle.
be the question I want to ask you. So I think the last question I want to ask you relates to yourself. All right.
Okay, sir.
And Olubemi has been asking these questions a number of times, and I think it's a very nice way to finish this session. And it says, how do you plan to create a lasting legacy for the Style Infidel Studios that would last a lifetime? So that was
Um,
from Olubemi. And I think it's a very
yes.
good question to finish.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to be venturing into teaching. I will probably appoint a new creative director who would handle the affairs of the business and all of that and all of that, while probably teaching the business of fashion and styling in a fashion school in Lagos. I mean, I've had a couple of schools reach out to me. I've had a couple of designers who have fashion schools reach out to me to come take styling classes and all of that. So I feel that's probably going to be an exit strategy for me. But
Mm-hmm.
if the likes of Edward have been in the business for 30, 40 years, I think I can do same. I think I can do same. For me at the moment, there are two things I live my life by, and I'm making a conscious effort to do that. Impact is number one. Impacting lives is number one. Impacting lives is number one. My number two is fulfillment. At the end of my journey, at the end of my sojourn in life, I want to feel fulfilled. And I also want people to be able to say, he touched my life, he impacted my business, he impacted my life. Those are two things I live my life by. Impact and fulfillment. And fulfillment comes with happiness and getting joy from living and getting joy from what you do. C'est fini.
Preach, Pastor. Preach. Hey, people, if you need to re-record this and write down those things and adapt it, bring it into your life. Because if you run your life according to how the Style Infidel does it, yeah, okay. You don't even
Oh,
need stress.
no.
Everything is fine. You understand? So, David, you are coming with more questions. We said we are finishing. We are going to have you on board because this one that you are harassing us like this, David Talley, don't worry. Worry, you are seeing David's details. We'll contact him. He's going to come on and do a show so that you can kill us with all of your knowledge as well. By the time we finish with you in that South Africa, David, you, don't worry, we'll deal with you. So I want to say thank you to our amazing guest, the Style Infidel,
Thank you,
Tosin
guys.
from Ibadan.
Thank you so
He's
much,
very
Uncle.
proud.
Thank
He's an
you so much
Ibadan
for
boy.
having
Oh.
me.
He's very proud of being from Ibadan. I like people that own their roots.
Yes, I
Yes.
am. I
I want
am.
to say a big thank you to you. I mean, you giving us your time,
Thank
imparting
you
your
very much,
knowledge,
sir. Thank you
doing
very
double
much, sir.
session for us. We really appreciate it, Tosin. Whatever
Thank you very
happens,
much, sir.
we will see you on the other side. This pandemic will end. Whether we are going digital, whether we are going non-digital, whether we're doing old-fashioned, whether we're doing the new normal, we will still work. We'll still make money. We'll still achieve the
Yes.
dreams and the things that we want to achieve in our lives. Okay?
Yes.
I
Yes.
would have said that you are destined for the top, but you're already there. So I don't know where you are destined to now. But wherever it is, we shall try and meet you there. Yes?
Amen.
Everything
Uncle.
is
Thank you so
fantastic,
much
guys.
for
So
having me,
please
sir.
say a bye-bye to Tosin with your
Thank you
comments
so
or
much,
love.
guys. I
All of you
really
post your
appreciate you
love
guys
out.